There have been a number of showcases with new announcements and more awesome indie games across RPGs, shooters, roguelikes, extraction ARPGs, and more, so let's begin with Spy Drops Gaiden, a Game Boy-inspired spin-off of the stealth action title Spy Drops, and similarly is a retro 2D infiltration adventure where you play as Agent Ripley, who goes on 8 stealth-heavy missions on a fortified island off Japan. Navigate shifting weather, patrols, and take guards down when necessary, with a dreamcatcher mechanic to pull intel out from captured guards, and looks pretty cool. Ever wondered what an incremental clicker would look like when mixed with Lovecraftian themes and pixel art visuals? Well, DEORUM brings answers. You awaken in a creepy room that has a cursed coining press and a mysterious gate, so merge mind ores, flesh, and artifacts into occult ingredients and mint several kinds of horrific coins to either upgrade or escape the room. Inspired by the legendary metal band's dystopian universe, Voivod the Nuclear Warrior is exactly the kind of heavy metal fever dream you expect from a full collaboration with the band themselves. This is a fast-paced run-and-gun 2D Metroidvania which drops you into a brutal post-apocalyptic wasteland where nuclear ruin, biomechanical nightmares, and shifting dimensions all bleed together into one surreal disaster zone. You play as the Voivod, a constantly mutating warrior whose mind has literally separated from his body after the world fell apart. Guided by Nothing Face, your disembodied consciousness, you're on mission to recover scattered fragments of your memory across a collapsing reality. Combat is fast and aggressive, with a mix of gunfire and melee attacks that let you blast through cybernetic abominations and intergalactic warlords. As you progress, new weapons, abilities, and traversal options let you reach hidden rooms, alternate routes, and secret paths in classic Metroidvania fashion, steadily expanding how you move through the world. Boss fights are against massive, screen-filling monstrosities inspired directly by Voivod's album artwork, with a huge part of the experience being the soundtrack, featuring reworked tracks from their current lineup adapted into a chiptune metal hybrid that perfectly fits the retro pixel art vibes. This isn't a loose adaptation either, since the band is heavily involved, but even if you have never heard of this band before, I'm sure there's something of interest here. From the developer of Healer's Quest and Necro Story comes Robot Recycler Ryn, a gritty, hands-on crafting RPG set in a post-apocalyptic future where robot construction isn't just the menu, it's the whole game. You play as Ryn, a trainee recycler in the year 2530, fighting to earn her place in the brutal Recycler Rumble League. In this tournament, robotic champions decide political power in the wasteland, pick up blowtorches, saws, lathes, and hammers to manually assemble every component of the combat robot, from individual limbs and armor plates to the final deadly assembly. The precision of construction directly impacts the robot's performance in battle, adding a satisfying layer of intentionality to every weld and cut. Once built, you can pit your machines in automated battles, where strategy and build quality determines the winner. With the option to jump into fully active combat as well, where you manually dodge, fire, repair, and struggle to keep your robot from getting blown up. The game offers 2 distinct paths, a story mode that follows Ryn's journey through a devastated world, and a pure construction sandbox mode for builders who just want to create and test without narrative constraints. It does have the developer's signature art style, which gives the rusty wasteland a surprising amount of personality, carving out a little bit of a niche for themselves. RetroSpace is a disco-punk immersive sim about being a janitor inside a cosmic horror fever dream where you're trapped on the Aurora 5, a city-sized space station swallowed by a sentient black hole, and time itself is breaking apart. Now, as the last hope of humanity, you must navigate corridors overrun with weird animal-plant hybrids, malfunctioning security systems, and a reality where time itself has gone completely mad. The game proudly offers a stealth versus action philosophy, letting you choose whether to skulk through the shadows, set elaborate traps, hack turrets to turn them on your enemies, or go loud, firing off your weapons in a violent manner. Survival isn't just about reflexes, and definitely leans more in the immersive sim direction as you study each enemy's unique behaviors, abilities, and weaknesses to outsmart them with a wide array of tools and weapons available to you. The station itself is a massive interconnected maze with shortcuts and secret paths that loop back to a mostly peaceful central hub, which is a welcome respite from the cosmic horror. The real wildcard comes in the form of Mutamods, TM, mutations that grant powerful abilities like mind control or shadow lurking, but come with irreversible and unexpected side effects, adding a layer of risky strategy to your build. Death is not the end, but a core mechanic as well, since the station can clone you infinitely, although each rebirth risks severe cloning degeneration, which, combined with a corpse run mechanic and the very interesting 60s or 70s retro-futuristic vibe, definitely makes this of interest with an updated release window of Q2 2026. Fans of physics-driven strategy and deck builders might want to keep an eye on Rune Dice, a roguelite deck builder where dice are launched at the battlefield to trigger chain reactions that can clear entire enemy waves. Each run starts small, but once you begin fusing magical dice, discovering relics, and setting up ridiculous combo chains, things ramp up fast. Choose from 8 unique hero classes, each with multiple characters like the poison-spreading rogues, area control mages, or damage-absorbing warriors, all of which bring distinct dice and magical abilities to the table. As you progress through procedurally generated maps, you collect magical dice from victories and shops, discover game-changing relics that offer permanent enhancements, and gather tactical runes for on-the-fly battlefield manipulation. Runs get especially interesting once you start experimenting with relic synergies and consumable runes, trying to set up sequences where one dice bounce triggers 3 more, which then detonates into a full-screen cascade. Each run culminates in epic boss battles against foes with unique abilities. Some summon reinforcements, others manipulate the dice field itself, and the most dangerous can rewrite combat rules entirely, forcing you to adapt your strategy on the fly. Looking to combine the satisfaction of something like Peggle with the roguelite ger and looks like fun. Tails Talons is a roguelite deck-building adventure that lets you dive into a mysterious tower full of strange creatures and tactical card combat, where spellcasting and matching elemental runes are core to how battles unfold. Combat revolves around assembling a customized deck of spells and effects, where aligning elements and runes on cards during duels boosts attack power, and unlocks combo effects that can devastate foes or bolster your own defenses. And as you descend through the tower's increasingly twisted depths, each enemy encounter becomes a puzzle of positioning your cards, timing your plays, and sequencing abilities to outsmart tougher adversaries. You can find and equip various trinkets that interact with cards in unique ways, amplifying combos or granting bonus effects, encouraging experimentation with different builds and strategies. A cast of colourful furry heroes brings personalities and distinct strategic flavours to your runs, with each playable character being unique and looks like a well-made one of these. Lucid is a precision-focused crystal punk Metroidvania that feels like a lovingly modernised take on the genre, built on a foundation of razor-sharp controls and clean atmospheric pixel art. You play as Owen, a young aspiring sentinel sent on a solemn quest in a world torn apart by dissonance after the catastrophic Great Fall destroyed the Lucid giant Alo. Your mission is to revive the fallen giant and to restore harmony to the celestial fabric. At one point in time, the developers did liken this to Celeste in terms of controls, so some elements of precision platforming in addition to the Metroidvania action. You can learn crystal arts, building weapons and abilities like the Crystal Blade, Crystal Spear, and Crystal Axe. Each art uniquely modifies your mobility and enhances combat, allowing you to choose your playstyle for both traversal and vanquishing foes. Explore the vast interconnected world in a non-linear manner, whether ascending the frigid Onyx Ridge, traversing the glittering crystal caverns, or descending into the industrial gloom of Well Town. The upgrade loop is driven by crystal shards and rare materials, which enhance your bracers by expanding their talisman slots, empowering your crystal arts even more, allowing you to tailor how you want to play, with a release planned for spring 2026. Pluto is an upcoming roguelite deck builder where you play as a beleaguered wizard who escaped prison and is pushing through a dark fantasy world of cursed ruins and grotesque monsters with a very personal deadline: getting to your niece's birthday party in one piece. In combat, you build your magic not just by playing cards, but by drawing and overlapping elemental spell patterns that combine into unpredictable and tactical spell recipes that reward creative thinking and experimentation rather than rote repetition, turning every turn into a high-stakes puzzle of timing and synergy. Each run pits you against a bestiary of hostile foes. In a hand-drawn, noir-tinged world where you juggle risk and reward, make rapid choices about which elemental gestures to invest in, and uncover emergent spell interactions that can turn a desperate fight into a satisfying victory. Having a sick, almost Hylix looking art style as well. Phantom Line is a wildly ambitious tactical FPS built for 1 to 4 player co-op set in a post-nuclear Eastern Europe that is torn apart by both international conflict and inexplicable paranormal events. You play as an operator, part of an elite Spec Ops unit working for the shadowy Megacorp Mod Field Industries. Your mission begins when a key research facility in the tension-ridden Iron Corridor goes silent and you are deployed to investigate just as nuclear war erupts. Now you must survive in the frontline where military chaos collides with monstrous entities emerging from tears in reality. The signature mechanic is the Husk system, which lets you transfer your consciousness into disposable artificial bodies. These husks are then used to scout, bait enemies, set traps and take risks that you wouldn't dare attempt in your operator's body. Between tense, anomaly-riddled operations, retreat to a massive nuclear-powered icebreaker ship that serves as a mobile base and sanctuary, where you can customize your Husk models, showcase your arsenal, modify your gear and get briefed on the next hunt from the main deck. Survival in the field means scavenging for resources, crafting gear, hunting animals for food, and harvesting mysterious quintessence from anomalies to push your abilities further, and looks like a very high potential title. Ever so often, a game comes along which commits to an idea so out of place that you can't help but pay attention, where we're looking at insider trading here, a roguelite deck builder where your opponent isn't a monster or a dungeon, but the stock market itself. Every card you play throws prices into a spiral that can make you rich or wipe you out instantly. The hook is that every action has real consequences, where pushing a stock too high will make it too expensive to invest in, but playing too cautiously means watching profits slip away. It becomes a tug-of-war between greed and survival, where timing of moves is everything. Each run gives you a weekly financial target, forcing you to create combos that manipulate market swings in your favour, but because volatility is built into the core design, the game never lets you truly feel comfortable and is quite an interesting entry in this space. If yelling at your screen has ever felt cathartic to you and you have that competitive streak, then Smack Talk might become your next party game obsession. This 1 to 4 player online PvP platform fighter takes the frantic energy of classic platform fighters like Smash Brothers, but you have to use your voice to play the game. That means to attack, shout the move's name directly into the microphone, where tossing out one-liners mid-match can charge up your character and unlock devastating ultimate moves. It's ridiculous in the best way possible, especially when everyone in the lobby is yelling different attacks at the same time. Choose from a diverse roster of distinct characters, each with their own unique movesets and special power-up phrase to master, with a variety of maps, each with distinct layouts and hazards, and just looks so indie games in the best way possible. Lelu is a captivating monochromatic action-adventure game set in the labyrinthine toy factory where you play as Lelu, a small clockwork toy who has suddenly gained consciousness. Your newfound desire for freedom clashes with the factory's purpose, and you must navigate a vertical tower filled with diabolical puzzles and deadly traps. The environment itself is a constant adversary, featuring perilous conveyor belt gauntlets, electrifying circuits, and a host of other sentient toys, many of which are not at all pleased with your awakened state. The game masterfully balances a charming toy box aesthetic with genuine tension, especially when you face off against enemies and towering clockwork titans. Delve deeper to uncover a variety of unique hidden abilities that aid both in traversal and combat, to solve increasingly complex environmental puzzles where it's not easy to pull off monochrome, but this looks good, so if curious, a demo is available on Steam so you can give it a try. Set in a demon-infested post-apocalyptic Paris, Armatus is a third-person roguelite shooter built around the idea that you start powerful and only get stronger. You are the last supernatural warrior of an ancient order, armed with celestial abilities and a killer arsenal, searching for a lost gateway to heaven known as the Sunless Gate. This is a classic roguelite, but frames each attempt as a lesson where knowledge itself becomes your ultimate weapon. Each run begins with you heavily armed, wielding a deadly scythe and a firearm of your choice, from rapid-fire SMGs to punishing shotguns, where you do start already in possession of incredible celestial powers. The goal is to push further into the increasingly creepy and hellish districts of the Broken City, evolving your combat style with every encounter. You'll continuously layer on new celestial abilities and passive enhancements onto your build, seeking that perfect godly synergy between holy powers like conjuring holy fire or slowing down time. The flashy and over-the-top combat design looks awesome, coming to us from the developer of Gearbox-published Godfall, which didn't do so hot, so let's see what they come up with this time around. From Rami Ismail of Vlambeer fame and Aesthetician Labs comes something completely off the rails in a tactical reverse bullet hell called Australia Did It. Here, instead of dodging thousands of bullets, you become the chaotic storm of destruction barreling across the battlefield. You're a mercenary hired to escort precious cargo across the dry seabed of the Atlantic Ocean by train. The job is underpaid, dangerous, and swarming with mutated creatures, so get your wits about you if you don't want to die. The game splits into two phases. First, a turn-based tower defense segment where you deploy units around the train with 30 plus unit types that can be merged into over 1,500 possible combinations. Once the train starts moving, all hell breaks loose, flipping into its signature reverse bullet hell mode where your fused units unleash absolute chaos on screen, shredding hordes of bugs and monstrosities. Add in run-based reward cards and great pixel art and you have my attention, kind of looking like Vampire Survivors meets Into the Breach, which seems like a cool idea. Not every game needs to have world-ending stakes, and sometimes the most compelling stories happen in the quietest of places, such as in Inconbini One Store Many Stories, which leans fully into that idea, offering a cozy, narrative-driven routine set in a small-town convenience store in early 1990s Japan. You play as Makoto Hayakawa, a college student working the counter, stocking shelves, arranging displays, and chatting with the shop's regulars as the days slowly unfold. Organize products, plan layouts, place orders, and perform mundane tasks that somehow become relaxing when wrapped up with warm visuals and gentle sound design. A diverse cast of regular customers wanders in, each with their own unfolding stories, secrets, and small-town lives, and through branching choices, you can influence their paths in small but meaningful ways. The combination of soft lighting, nostalgic colors, and a textured ASMR soundscape ranging from rustling packages to rain tapping on the storefront creates quite the appealing world. The bizarre, brutal, and wildly imaginative world of Grime is back with Grime 2 that cranks up its already surreal identity into even stranger territory. Instead of a living black hole, you now play as the Formless, a living art mimic, being able to use your hand tendrils to attack, parry and grasp foes, absorbing their essence, shaping them into molds which are then used for special attacks. It's a system that lets you build a personalized toolkit from the world's strangest inhabitants, as these molds enable you to fire projectiles, stun enemies, or even turn them into summons that fight by your side. You'll venture through incredible locations sculpted from painted nails and giant vases, parallel to the rock and root of the original game, which is quite different from regular games, each area home to its own unique civilization and curious characters. As such, this looks to build upon the foundation of the original, but puts its own spin on the concept, with a demo being live as well so you can check it out. We did also get a release date announcement for Dune Crawl, a 1-to-4 player online and local co-op action-adventure game where your ship isn't a ship at all, but a gigantic walking crustacean, a dune crawler lumbering across alien dust seas covered in cannons, being the home base for your treasure-seeking adventure. You and your crew are desert-faring privateers, each taking on a vital role to keep your living vessel moving. You can steer the crab, load the cannonballs, repair the legs, or launch yourself through the air in a daring raid on the enemy dune crawler, looking pretty epic in terms of action. Everyone scrambles when the desert erupts with danger, like roving bandit gangs or oversized creatures bursting from the sand, so work together to take them down and to stay alive. Travel through sprawling, lush, hand-drawn environments to unfold the mysteries of the crawlers, interact with NPCs, defend local towns, and hunt for hidden plunder, looking like quite the high-potential title, and the best part is that we won't have to wait long. From the developer of Fell Seal Armatus Mark comes Pathbreaker's Roaming Blades, a turn-based tactical RPG that pushes past managing a mere party of adventurers into the realm of running your own full-fledged mercenary company on the ruthlessly unforgiving Storm-tossed Isles. This isn't a straightforward campaign, where the entire open world map, its dangerous dungeons, and even most battle maps are procedurally generated, making every new venture a fresh, unpredictable challenge. You handle everything from the ground up, from hiring your crew, training and outfitting them with gear, and scouring the land for contracts, trading opportunities, or hidden plunder to keep your company funded. What sets it apart is how the company's identity is shaped. You amass reputation on 3 distinct paths: as a traditional mercenary, a savvy trader, or a daring explorer, offering different playstyles and interactions with the world, with a high reputation level unlocking new specialized opportunities, contracts, and commissions. When battle calls, you deploy up to 8 units onto a hex grid, facing off against a huge variety of enemies, from rival sellswords to monstrous creatures, each with unique abilities that you need to counter. Squads are deeply customizable, built from 8 core classes that each branch into 2 advanced specializations with their own skill trees, looking like Battle Brothers meets Final Fantasy Tactics, with the news being that they signed with strategy game publisher Hooded Horse, who are absolutely crushing it, so I have high expectations for this. We also got an extended gameplay trailer for Hark the Ghoul, a first-person Souls-like dungeon crawler channeling the atmosphere of 90s RPGs, and is perhaps more accurately a King's Field-like title. You explore a dark, damp Victorian city obsessed with digging for a precious resource named Amber, all while horrific creatures lurk beneath the cobblestone streets. The world has tight, twisting level design, being a deep labyrinth of seamless, interconnected zones where every corner, whether a chandelier-lit alley or a secret passage, promises an unpredictable discovery, ranging from hidden shortcuts, rare loot, or a terrifying new monster lying in the wait. Combat is as methodical as the exploration is rewarding, forcing you to face off against terrifying monsters and foes with a deliberate, weighty pace. Tear through them with a ton of unique gear, from classic swords and whips to pistols, cannons, and magical artifacts, each piece offering its own unique playstyle. The throwback art style is well done, really paying tribute to its inspiration, and looks to be one of the hits of 2026. From Wolcen Studio, developer of the Diablo-like action RPG Wolcen Lords of Mayhem, comes Gods, Death and Reapers, one of the boldest genre mashups in being an extraction ARPG, mixing Diablo-style combat with a high-stakes PvPvE extraction structure. Set in a post-apocalyptic dark fantasy world where ancient mythologies lie shattered, the only force keeping reality from collapsing is you, a Reaper handpicked by Death. Enter dangerous maps inspired by Norse mythology, complete dangerous objectives, fight other players who want the same loot you do, and then attempt to get out before something unspeakable kills you. If you succeed, you keep all your gear and artifacts, but if you die, you lose everything and have to try again. Given that they made Wolcen, the core ARPG systems should be there, with plans for a story campaign and cooperative PvE mode, but for now, its alpha playtest is live and you can request access via their Steam page. Four Leafed Fields offers one of the most charming and genuinely clever twists on the farming genre I've seen in ages. Instead of tending to a regular size plot, you're shrunk down to insect size, transforming a simple backyard into a massive adventure-filled landscape. Suddenly, watering crops means shooting huge water droplets at plants that tower like skyscrapers, and harvesting involves slicing enormous carrots and pumpkins into manageable pieces. Your farm animals are adorable bugs like moths, bees, butterflies, and ladybugs that add a swarm of personality to your tiny community, but the real standout is the gossip system, which is the main progression. Collect stories and rumors from neighbors, connect the dots between bits of hearsay, and use this web of chatter to unlock hidden secrets about the villagers and the town's mysterious past. Exploration is a constant delight as you roam forests, mountains, and navigate everyday human items like a towering boot or an oversized teacup that feel like colossal monuments from your new perspective. Connect with charming neighbors, organize heartwarming events, and even play matchmaker, all while raising the town rank to unlock new shops and upgrades with co-op support as well, and thus look very cozy. An interesting co-op roguelite Metroidvania is Nevergrave the Witch and the Curse, where you play as a cursed hat with the main gimmick of the possession system, which lets you take control of enemies using their unique abilities to solve environmental puzzles and to gain a serious edge in battle, constantly changing your playstyle. Fight with magic, use the terrain, and navigate procedurally generated dungeons that change every run. Between these runs, you'll rebuild a ruined village using materials scavenged from dungeons as you clear rubble, construct new facilities, and cultivate crops in the fields. The village becomes your vital hub to cook food, utilize skill trees, and grow stronger before your next run. With the Pale World people publishing this game, so it certainly has potential, even if it does visually resemble Hollow Knight a little too closely. From the developer of Vampire Survivors comes Vampire Crawlers, a turbocharged spin-off that transforms their signature formula into a turn-based roguelite deck-building strategy adventure where you explore shadowy, multi-floor dungeons, build powerful card decks, and unleash escalating, snowballing combos against waves of enemies as you explore, upgrade abilities, and master a uniquely paced card combat system. Play cards in ascending mana order to trigger chain reactions, where each card's effect can multiply the next, with wild cards expanding combo potential, allowing for breathtaking sequences that can overwhelm enemies or turn the tide of a run. And this turbo turn system lets you choose a thoughtful tactical rhythm or blitz through turns at breakneck speed, while still seeing consistent outcomes that reward clever play and deck synergy. Dungeon exploration acts as more than a backdrop, with functioning walls, hidden treasure, interactive elements, and routes between floors that encourage strategic decisions about when to fight and when to pursue loot, with experience gained in encounters unlocking new cards, customization gems, and power-ups that deepen deck options and shapes how each run evolves. Familiar monsters from the Vampire Survivors series resurface alongside new challenges, tying the frenetic card combat back into a broader, eerie world of creeping darkness and hidden riches, and might be drawing some inspiration from Balatro. We also got a new trailer from the highly anticipated Crow Swan at the Xbox Partner Preview Showcase, a dark fantasy Metroidvania that blends fluid platforming, stylish combat, and interconnected exploration in a sprawling, cursed kingdom called Ferendal, where memory and mystery drive every encounter in a gothic world filled with secrets and peril. Combat looks fast and weighty, with a lethal mix of scythe-based melee, dual pistols for range pressure, and mysterious Corvian powers that consume an energy called Malice, which requires aggression against enemies to refill, creating a visceral rhythm of striking, dodging, and striking again. It looks sick as hell and is the next big Metroidvania after Silksong, but no release date or window as of yet, so we'll have to wait and see. Watch this video for more of the best indie games.